So the basis of mindfulness meditation practice, and a lot of other meditation practices, is the basis of letting go. When you're going to do a meditation practice, the first type of letting go that you would do would be, for the time of the practice, to turn your attention away from the outside world. Turn your attention away from all your thoughts, your planning, your fears, your likes, your dislikes. Put down your interest in what's going on outside of this room. Did anyone find during that practice there, once they relaxed down physically and mentally enough, they kind of lost interest in the sounds and the commotion? Yeah? Isn't that an interesting experience? Was anyone disturbed by it? It's okay to be disturbed. No? So what's going on there? What was the difference there to if you were trying to get to sleep at night and you heard that sound, or you were trying to write an essay or something and you heard those sounds and they were drawing your attention? Yeah. This is the power of letting go. You let go of your interest in these things. Yeah? You relax deeper and deeper, and in that relaxation it actually gave you the freedom that you're no longer controlled by external things. And you actually find the deeper the practice starts to go, the more relaxed you become mentally and physically. You don't go towards sleep, you actually become more and more alert. But you feel less and less like coming out and engaging with it. At this level of letting go, when it's deep enough, you can actually work with things like pain, physical pain, difficult emotions, difficult thoughts or memories. And you'll have the same relationship to them as you had to those outside sounds. Can you see the strength in being able to do that? Yeah, that's what we're training. And it doesn't mean we're running away from things. We're not running away from anything. What we're doing is creating a condition where mentally we're not saying no anymore. Now, to look into letting go and what I mean by that, because as you know with me, I'm going to put a twist on this. Ajahn Chah, a quite famous meditation master, used to meditate in northern Thailand, in the jungles up there. He said, do everything with a mind that lets go. Don't accept praise or gain or anything else. If you let go a little, you'll have a little peace. If you let go a lot, you'll have a lot of peace. He said, if you let go completely, you'll have complete peace. So it's pretty clear the path, but there's a problem here. How do you actually let go? We're quite often told, and yet this is very popular, especially in Western culture, oh, you got a problem? Oh, just let go of it. You got an addiction? Just let go of it. Terrible thoughts? Just let go of them. Yeah? It's really irritating you, just let go. But there's a problem here. Letting go isn't something that we do. We don't let go. If you're addicted to something, you can't let go. That's what an addiction is. When you're addicted to something, you're stuck to it. We're stuck to it. The harder you try to let it go, right, the stronger it pulls you in. You look at any addiction you've had, where it's been an addiction in a relationship. We get addicted to partners. Oh no, my life would end if that person wasn't here. Yeah, that's an addiction. We get addicted to having a cup of coffee in the morning to wake up, to cigarettes, addicted to us doing a certain job. We can't see that there's nothing else. We can't see that there's actually other possibilities in life that we could actually do other than that. We get caught up in it. We get fearful of doing anything different. Right? We get addicted to drugs, we get addicted to sex, we get addicted to certain type of music. I like this music, I don't like that music. Yeah? We really do. We get addicted to a lot of things. So you can't, if you look at it, you can't just let go of something. And this is because letting go is not something that you do. Letting go is a result of what you do. Letting go is a result that happens when your relationship to something changes. So you can be in a relationship that's good and then it goes really, really difficult. And then suddenly you realise, hey, we've grown apart and we're not actually quite similar anymore. But we're still kind of stuck on that memory of how the relationship used to be. So we keep trying to make it work. Now I'm not trying to break up relationships here. Sometimes there's a time to stay, sometimes there's a time to go. But what we do is we get stuck in that relationship and we can't see any way out of it. But sometimes you'll find you'll go on that relationship and then slowly you'll just become disenchanted with each other. That means the interest loses and it just naturally parts. It just naturally parts. And disenchantment is a normal process. It's a very natural process. When we're children, we're enchanted with certain toys. Yeah? You might have liked your Barbie doll, right? I had this smelly little pillow, apparently. They called a khaki. Used to drag it around with me everywhere. Couldn't eat dinner without it. Couldn't go shopping with mum without having my khaki. Yeah? Couldn't fall asleep at night unless it was there. I would cry unless I had it. So I was enchanted with this. Being enchanted with it, I thought it was the most wonderful thing in the world. But as we grow up, we lose our enchantment with the things that enchant us as children. Then we become teenagers, we become enchanted with other things, quite often the opposite sex, right? Or how we look and how other people think about us. We become enchanted about that, and that's all we think about, that's all we do. But then as we get older, we get disenchanted with that, hopefully, as well. And you'll find what enchanted you when you were younger is different now. Quite often with adults, we're very good at hiding our enchantments, but our addictions carry on. We change our addiction from one thing to another thing. Suddenly it might be addicted to family, it might be addicted to work, it might be addicted to whatever. Now, family, work, things aren't a problem. It's the relationship to them that can cause problems if we feel that we can't live without them. Remember, you came into this world with absolutely nothing and you're going to leave with absolutely nothing. We come in naked and we're going out naked. Yeah? That's the reality, isn't it? So, in getting to understand this, we understand that letting go is something that happens when we become disenchanted, or that means our relationship changed to things. So, if we can't just let go of things, how do we actually cause this relationship change? How do we practice the process of letting go, or the process that causes letting go? The way you do that is through first increasing your mindfulness. So mindfulness is the ability to know this is what I'm experiencing right now. Not what you think you're experiencing, right? What you're actually experiencing. So you're feeling the sensations in your body. That's a reality. That you can know. Then what we do is we soften into the experience. be they experience anxiety or sadness or frustration, right, or longing or fear, we soften into it. So as you saw in that letting go practice we were just doing then, what we do is we anchor our awareness in our body, be mindful of that. That creates the foundation that anchors our attention in the present, and then we started softening in. You use that same softening process in everyday life. That's how you do it. So if we look at it, when we experience anxiety, what's actually going on? What's happening with anxiety is we've got a mental relationship to something. And in that mental relationship we're saying, no, this isn't what should be happening. I don't want this to be happening. So there's mental resistance there, isn't there? When that mental resistance comes up, what happens is we get corresponding sensations in our body. These sensations are what we call anxiety, right? Hardness, tension, lightness. That's anxiety. If we felt fear, we have a mental no, don't want this. And then we feel corresponding sensations in our body. Tightness, swirling, upward moving feeling. But they're all experienced as sensations. Emotions are experienced as a physical response to a mental yes or a mental no. And you'll notice this when you feel in love, when you fall in love. I don't know if that's happened to any of you recently, but I can remember it when I was younger. It used to happen a lot. You feel light. You feel sensations of lightness in your body. You get that desire, right? The wanting in your mind, and then the lightness. So basically by watching our body, by anchoring in our body, we can actually see whether we're saying mentally yes to a situation or mentally no to a situation. Whether we're resisting it or whether we're accepting it. There will be the sensations in our body will reflect what's going on. Everything has this. Anger has a feeling. Generosity has a feeling. Compassion has a feeling. Hatred has a feeling. Lusting has a feeling. All these things manifest in our body depending on our mental relationship. Does that make sense so far?
Yep.
Can you see how that works? So by building up awareness of our body, the Buddha called it Kaya Nupassana, right? Kaya Nupassana. So it's a domain of awareness. It's an awareness of the body, awareness of the sensations in our body. We can see what's happening mentally, and we can actually work with what's happening mentally by working with the body. If you work with the physical sensations in the body, you'll also change the state of mind. We just saw that. I got you to check out your state of mind at the end of that, didn't I? Notice how as you relax physically, as you relaxed into the sensations, that mentally you started to calm down and relax and become peaceful too. There's a relationship happening here. This is how it works. So it's very important to, in our daily life, and we're doing it in our practice too, but if we're practicing for what? For daily life. It's very important in our daily life to start being aware of this mental resistance in particular. Mental resistance to a situation. So what you'll do is, if you're not sensitive enough to notice that mental resistance, notice the change in your body. Quite often if there's mental resistance, physically you'll start to feel uncomfortable. If you start to feel irritated, you feel irritation in your body, mentally what you're doing is you're saying no to whatever's happening. Mentally you're not accepting it. Now there's a problem with saying no and yes, and I'll show you. First one is, if you say no to a situation, right, what you're doing is you're resisting that situation. When you resist it, you have no choice but to resist. You have no choice in your reaction but to try to run away, to attack or to run away. No choice. When you say yes to a situation, now I'm not saying that you have to like the situation. It might be a pain in your body you can't get rid of. It might be a relationship you can't get out of, right? It might be a workplace that you have to go to every day to earn money to live for your family. You can't get out of it. When you say no, you will suffer, 100%, guaranteed. When you mentally say yes to it, you're not saying yes to what's happening, you're saying yes to this is what I'm experiencing now. This is my experience of the situation. As soon as you say yes, you actually have a choice. You can either stay or you can go. But you have a choice. When you say no, you have no choice. Yes can only come out of strong mindfulness. No comes out of very deep, what's called delusion. Means you're lost in it. Habitual reaction. Yeah? Can you see how this works? So no causes things to stagnate. Yes causes things to flow. Now this doesn't mean that if you're in a relationship of some sort, or say somebody's taking advantage of you, it doesn't mean you have to say yes to it. It doesn't mean you have to say yes, okay, do whatever you want. Or in a workplace they're trying to take advantage of you and you have to say yes, I'll take a 50% pay cut because that's yes. That's not the yes I'm talking about. The yes is not to the story of your life. The yes is not what's happening in your life. The yes is you acknowledging this is what I'm experiencing at the moment. I can't change it, so I will accept it. Now this is where the magic happens, and that's what we're learning in mindfulness meditation, is that when you learn to soften into the experience and say yes and accept this is what's happening, then that yes contains the next moment to not contain resistance, not contain suffering. And so what happens there is things start to change. If you're mentally resisting saying no, you're conditioning the next moment to contain that resistance, to contain that suffering, and it will go on forever for the rest of your life. Can you see? One gives you freedom, one makes things move, the other one makes things stay. You can't change the circumstances in your life by trying to run away from them. You cannot change them, right, by struggling with what you're experiencing. Because in reality, whatever you're experiencing right now is already here, it's already fixed. This is reality. If it's here, it's reality, you cannot change it. You can't change it, right? Whatever you're experiencing right now is how it is. You can argue, you can discuss, you can have long conversations with yourself while you're walking down the beach if you want, but it's not going to change it. The only thing that's going to change is your own happiness. But what you can do is you can change your relationship to it by accepting, yes, I feel unpleasant. Yes, I don't like it, but that's okay. This is how it is. This is what I got to work with. Breathe in, relax into it. Breathe in, relax into it. The very act of relaxing into it lowers the mental resistance. When the mental resistance goes, the no goes. When the no goes, the yes arises and things start to change. So I had to do that yesterday. We had some awful fish and chips. Really overcooked, terrible. And I ate about 3/4 of the fish. And then it all got caught up in the top of my esophagus. And it was quite painful. So here I am, it wants to go down, it wants to come back up. So I'm kind of half vomiting, half holding it down, and it was very painful, cutting the inside of the esophagus and stuff. You could feel it, right? And so this was the time for practice. So I'm there watching it, watching the sensations in the body and softening into the resistance. I couldn't change the situation. I couldn't change that I was going to vomit or whatever, or had all this pain. But what I could change is my relationship to it. So I just kept watching myself mentally and relaxing into it. And it's like, it's okay, this is how it is. And so I went through the experience. Now my body was sick, but I didn't suffer in it. Whatever happened was okay. And that's what we've got to head to, or that's what we're heading to. And that's where this freedom from mindfulness meditation comes from.